Good morning, everyone. Welcome to office hours. Our only one in October. Oh my God, in November. My goodness. So I appreciate everyone being flexible in terms of the change of day. Since we do have a lot to cover today, actually. I don't know if anyone wants to get us started with a question. We do have things as well that we would like to go over. Club Express is making a change to the visual look of the back end of the platform. So we wanted to walk you through that as much as we can. There is a video of the webinar that was held, I don't know, was that 2 weeks ago, I guess, that we can also send you if you'd like to take a look at it. But I don't see any hands. Anybody want to start us off with a question? I don't know. I don't see any hands, so we could, if you want, we've got a pretty good group already in terms of numbers. Oh, all right, Donna. Thank you so much. Why don't you get us started with your question, Donna?
Hi, sorry, it took me a minute to find my hand to
Not at
raise.
all.
So I have a question about primary and secondary members. I made a switch today for one of our groups, and I have a feeling there is probably an easier way than the way that I did it. So my question is, let's say you have a person who's assigned as their primary member, and you want to assign a different person as the primary member and move all the secondary members to that person. I'm guessing there's an easier way than doing them one by one.
Yes,
Could
absolutely.
could you show off how that works?
Sure. Which group are you with?
Sorry, co-op Columbus or Central Ohio.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, there's a very easy way to do it. The agency groups with the primary and secondary are the most difficult memberships to work with, and we are going to be covering something pertaining to that today as well. But let's just look for a primary here.
You can look for me, Davies, Davies. I'm a primary.
Okay, so you currently have all of these people as secondaries. And if you wanted to make Joe Allen your new primary and change you to secondary, you would go to the member options, level changes, and you're going to promote a secondary member to a primary.
Okay.
And you choose the secondary member that you're promoting. And then if I were to hit select, that would take care of everything. Joe Allen would be the primary, and you and everybody else would be secondary underneath Joe Allen.
Awesome. I'll know for next time. Thank you for showing that off. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. There's other things that you can do in here as well. For instance, if you have a secondary member that for some reason didn't realize that they needed to join as a secondary underneath a primary, and they set up their account as just a primary membership. And so now you have two primaries for the same agency, and perhaps, it's Donna Davis is in there. She's got all the secondary members that she's supposed to have, but Joe Allen comes and joins in the wrong way, and he's pending. He hasn't paid, but he is set up as a primary member. You would do the same thing here. You would want to link his solo membership to your primary membership. So you would just do that by clicking here. And then you would choose the member that joined incorrectly for this one, and the member that you want to move him to underneath the primary with this one.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
So this one here would be, you would choose Joe Allen, and then here you would choose the primary member that you're trying to link him to. And then once you choose those two, you just click save, and then that does it automatically as well. Same thing if for some reason you needed to, maybe you have Joe Allen is no longer working at your agency and is now working at a new agency, and he's going to be the primary. You can unlink him. So all of his transactions will get, and everything in his account would get moved over. So you don't want to have him start new. So you would unlink him from your account. So by doing this, you could unlink Joe Allen. And then you would choose the membership type that he is. And then if I were to click save, he would be a primary member under agency membership all by himself, and all of his transactions and records would move with him and stay with him instead of starting from scratch. Let's see, this one doesn't apply. I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, I thought somebody was going to say something. And these two don't apply to you because you don't have tertiary. So these are just the first three things that the first three options here are the ones that you would use the most.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? If you do, just raise your hand to let us know that you have a question. I don't see any questions at the moment, so I don't know, Yvonne, if you'd like to get started with showing the new interface.
Sure. So there is a video, and we'll drop the link to the video into the chat. This is the Club Express webinar that they did on November 5th, in case you weren't able to make that webinar. They are rolling out changes to the interface, both the admin and the user interface. It's going to be in 3 steps, I believe they said, 3 stages. The first stage is going to be in early December, probably within the first 10 days or so of December, with the final steps being rolled out, the final stages being rolled out in January. So one of the first things you're going to notice is the interface looks different. So the back end for the admin end, it's going to look like this, where they're stacked instead of rows. So we got everything is moving to columns instead of the rows that you're used to. One of the major changes that they made is, if some of you are used to, let me just go to one of these here. If some of you might be used to switching to view mode, for instance, if you wanted to get to the volunteering module as a regular user versus the admin side, you would click on switch to view mode, and then you would click on volunteering, and it would bring you to the front end of the website instead of the back end module for editing. Let me look up a better one here. Let's do document library. So this is the document library from the document library manager as an admin. But if I switch to view mode and then click on document library, this is what logged in member sees in the document library. And you can't, as an admin, you're not uploading from here. You have to upload from the back end, the admin side. So that's how you would switch from, in the current user interface, that's how you would switch to view mode. What they're going to be doing here instead is, instead of that link over here that says switch to view mode, you can click on the view under each of the modules. And that's how you would switch to see the front end of the module. To edit it as an admin, you would either click on edit, or you can click on just the icon or the title of the module. So you have three options to click on as an admin to edit. So that's the first thing. Like I said, instead of being rows, they're going to change to columns. Let me see here at about 13 minutes. And this is going to be the people option. This is where currently, if I were to go to the people manager, this is how you would look up members now. And this is how it will look once they roll out the first changes. And it all acts the same. They just tried to clean it up a little bit. To be honest, I'm so used to this that it's going to take me a while to get used to the other change. So you've got where you can add filters and change as many filters as you want. Last name, maybe you want to go to company or category or member type. It's just changing it a little bit. And the level here is primary versus this level here. So you can see it's not much changes. What they did was they got rid of all of these little icons here. And instead it's a drop down. So I kind of like the icons because now you have to click twice to get to what you want to get to. You have to hit the drop down actions and then you have to choose your option. Whereas with the icons, you only have to click once. But they felt that people didn't know necessarily what all these icons stood for. And so they felt that this was going to be a cleaner, easier option for people to use. And let's see. I don't know, some of you are using forums, but I did think this forums change was kind of interesting. This is going to be the new look for the forums. Instead of those rows of titles of forums names, and then the start new thread, or the start new thread up here, you're going to click on, there's going to be these tiles or cards for each individual forum to go into. And then I think once you click in it, it actually acts the same way. So this is, you can, switch to thread view, return to forums, go back to this tile view. And here's where you can reply, and the admin can and access the message and make edits to the message, delete the message if it needs to be deleted, etc. So those were three of the things that were of most interest, I thought, that you might want to see. And oh, well, there is also the profile. Let me see if I can find the user. Sorry about this. Let me see. The member directory is going to change a little bit. Basically, it's just going to make it a little easier, a little cleaner for lookups. They've changed the lookup here to make it look a little cleaner for when you're looking up people. And the member profile, it's changing a little bit. This is the regular member using the interface. This is not the admin. This is when you go to your own profile. And so they've just changed it a little bit to be more modern.
So the key thing to note here is that it's more of a visual change. There's no change in the functionality.
Correct.
It's just how they've kind of organized things, and it's a modernization, right? To get the site, up to web standards, current web standards, right? In terms of presenting information. So this is a very positive change. But the key thing to note is there's no change in the functionality. So you're not going to notice that. It's just that it's going to be how it appears in the back end, or how it appears. There will be some front-facing changes for your members, as Yvonne mentions, like the member profile or the forum and that kind of thing.
Right. That's not going to affect the look and feel of your website at all. And everything is still going to be under the same categories. So, if you're looking for transaction history, or if you need to print a receipt for something that you paid for, you can still go to your profile. It's still going to be under your histories. That's where you find your event history. This one does not have points tracking, but points tracking and volunteering would be down in here in your histories as well. So nothing is moving. It's just a little bit more cleaner, more modern interface. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Yes, we don't have an exact date of when they are planning, and this will be, you tell me, Yvonne, is this done such that we literally wake up one day and it's been turned over? Is that how these usually work?
Yeah, it is. And a lot of times they roll out the new interface, or they roll out the little change, and then you get a notice that they rolled it out. But I think for this one, because it's such a big change, they're going to announce it beforehand.
So that's good. So you should have a heads up before it comes, so that you know that when it will be released onto your site. But they are saying, they said in the webinar, the 1st of December or the 8th. I don't know whether that will be exact, but because some of these things, obviously, they go through Q&A testing, and if they find issues and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if we have a definite yet, but that's what they are saying, at least in this webinar. So does anyone have any questions before we move on? No, I don't see. So Yvonne, if you want to move on to the
Yes,
secondary and
so
primary members, right?
yes, I'm going to use Pennsylvania as my sample site here when I discuss something that I think might be of interest to you. A lot of you have sent out your first renewal notice 90 days ahead of December 31st. Others do it for 60 days ahead. This group here, theirs are 60 days ahead. So under the People tab, if you're not sure, under the People tab, renewal expiration settings, and if you scroll down here, it'll tell you when your first renewal notice is going out automatically to the members, which is 60 days ahead of time. So if the memberships all expire on December 31st, because the new year date starts January 1st, the first notice went out to your Pennsylvania's membership roughly November 1st. And then this notice, the second notice, is going to go out roughly December 15th. And this third notice is going to go out roughly January 31st. And this third notice, I'm sure they changed the language in the system email to say, your membership expired on January 1st. It's time to renew your past renewal date. That's what this negative number means. So what happens though is agencies go in and they start renewing, and they look at the way that they look at their secondary members, and they realize that, oh gosh, this person's no longer with the agency and we really need to add this person. So they start making changes. The problem with that is, even though it's toward the end of the year, it could be December 25th. And let's say on December 25th, an agency came in here. A primary came in here. Let's look at this one here. And Margaret realized that she's got no secondary members under her. And sure enough, there should be Joe and Susan underneath Margaret. So Margaret goes in to renew her profile, and she adds a couple of new members. When she adds a couple of new members, secondary members cost $20. Now it's December 25th, and she's adding 2 members 5 days, 6 days before expiration. She will get invoiced for those 6 days for those 2 new members that she added, which does not make sense clearly. There's no reason somebody should be paying $20 for 6 days of membership, because then when she goes through the renewal process, she will be charged again for those 2 people for the upcoming year. So the only workaround I have, and Club Express has for this, is if you want, one workaround is she'd have to come to you and come to an admin and say, I got charged for these. Could you please clean this up? And, I don't want to be charged for 6 days for membership for these 2 people. Or she would renew just herself, and then come January 1st, she would add the new 2 people, and then she would get invoiced for $20 for each of the new people. The option you have here is you could turn off that charge for adding new members during the year, but you don't want to turn it off for the entire year, because if she were to add that member in February, you would definitely want to make her pay to add that member in February. So this is something that comes up all the time. This is a big problem. And I know your admins, your website admins, are constantly reaching out to us saying, why did this person get charged for this membership? And why is there 2 charges for this person? So my suggestion, if you want to take it, is to add something to your own calendar and to go into your renewal settings, your people options, and turn off that charge. So right here is where the charge is turned on. This says charge for membership changes made through the profile. So in other words, with this set to yes, if she adds a member on December 25th, she's going to be charged for that member for the calendar year of 2025, and then she'll be charged for that membership for the calendar year of 2026. So if you want, you could turn this to off only while you're in the renewal process, and then so make a calendar note of, maybe September 1st, turn that off, and then January 1st, turn it back on. And that will solve that problem. It'll make it a lot easier, as long as you remember, as long as you put it in your calendar to turn that back on in January. Otherwise, people are going to be joining in 2026 and not being charged for the secondary memberships. And this only applies if you charge for secondary memberships, which I believe all of your agencies do charge for secondary memberships. If you're not sure, you would go to your member types and look at your member type for agency, and then scroll down, and the primary is 20 and the secondaries are 20.
So we do have a question about, wouldn't the setting for grace period work for that issue or no?
Well, for instance, in this one, there is no grace period. Do you offer a grace period? And it's set to no. If you were to turn this on to yes, which you could also do, you could turn this on to yes and change it to maybe if the renewal process for them is 60 days, you could change this to 2 months. And that means anybody joining after October 1st, I'm sorry, November 1st, anybody joining, and that includes a primary who joins after November 1st is not going to be charged for membership for the current year. They would get their membership through 2026.
And confirm, Yvonne, this is only for adding secondary members, right? It doesn't apply, it's not an issue in terms of renewing. It would just be if a primary member goes in and adds new secondary members.
Right. And the other thing with this grace period is this is universal across all membership types. This is not just agency. So if you turn this on, any membership type who joins within 2 months at the end of the year is going to get that 2 months for free. Whereas the other option, just turning off the changing to membership during the year, that will, or charge for membership changes during the year, that will only apply to your agency members, because your agency members are the only one that have secondary members. Is there a way to confirm? No, Nicole Hogan asked if there's a way to confirm. Let me cancel this. If the notices have gone out. Nicole, which group are you with?
Kansas.
So those renewal notices, so first of all, let's look at the renewal settings. So it's under the People tab, renewal expiration. And you have your first one going out 60 days ahead of time, 30 days ahead of time, and then roughly the 24th of December. Now, those emails are found under the Communications tab, System Emails. And then if you scroll down to Renewal Notice 1, 2, and 3. Renewal Notice 1, Renewal Notice 2, Renewal Notice 3. This gear widget tells me that you've done something here in this wrench. Let's see what you've done. You've turned on track emails, which is perfect. So yes, as long as you have tracked emails, you will know whether or not the email went out. Now, if you turn those tracked emails on after the first renewal notice went out, then it's not going to work, because it's only if it's been turned on, and then any email that goes out after. So this here is where you would click to view the results. And then you could do it by date. You had it as 60 days, so you could do, anything after maybe 2025. And this will tell you the emails did go out, and this will tell you whether or not they were opened. So on your very first page, so your first email 60 days out went out on November 3rd, and so far nobody has opened it. If somebody
Does that seem odd to you, though? I mean, for being out there 2 weeks and no one has opened up that email?
Yes, it does seem odd.
Okay.
And my guess is, so let me finish this. If it had been opened, it would say yes. And I'm not sure, actually, I'm not sure if it says yes. But instead of saying no, it'll have a date and time. So it would have November 3rd at 9:30 a.m. And I'm not 100% sure because none of yours say yes, but if it doesn't say yes, it would just have the date and time here. But it will definitely have the date and time that it was opened. Now, with that being said, I'm wondering if you use your emailing. Okay, so you use emailing. And let's see, your tracking opens. So 24 people opened it. So at first glance, it would make me nervous. And I would say that you would need to send out an email outside of Club Express to your members saying that they need to whitelist the email address or my brain's not working. It's early this morning.
The
Not white,
IP address, yeah.
add it to your safe senders list. But because people are opening your emails, then I'm not as concerned. They might be thinking it's 60 days out, I'm not ready to renew. And that's why they didn't open it, because the subject line is going to say it's a renewal notice. But this tells me that they are receiving your emails and they are opening them, and it comes from the same email address. So I wouldn't worry too much about it at this point. There is no way, unfortunately, there is no way to send a second system email. You can't push out. You can't go down here somehow and say, I want to push out this email and send it to them again because I noticed nobody has opened it. You can't do that. You can, however, send an email to everybody who's in the renewal cycle under the communications, emailing. There's two different ways you can do it. I'm just going to copy this email. Under your distributions list, you should be able to, all members in the renewal cycle. Now, if this works correctly, and sometimes I'm sure some of you have noticed that things in Club Express don't work the way that you would think they would. It should say that was roughly, I don't know, 20 something people or 30 people, not even that first renewal notice went out to. 35. So this would go out to 35 people. And the way that you can see that is if once I save the distribution to all active members in the renewal cycle, if I click on this little caret, it's going to tell me that it's going to go out to 35 people. One person on that list is refusing emails. So they'll never get they'll get the system email saying that there's a renewal notice. System emails override members refusing, but emails generated in the communications tab do not override this. So what you would need to do is once this email were sent out, you would want to go to your report, and you can actually go to any of the reports probably right now. So let's look at this report and opened emailing by status. Oh, I picked the wrong report. Okay, so these people have not opened the email. These people have, and when they opened it. Let me look at the other report here. Emailed results by status. And this is the one, bad format, and these are not allowed. So the other email only showed one because it was only going to primary members. This one is going to all secondary members as well. These people are not allowing emails from your website. So let's look at Roland, Amanda. And if I go to her profile here and her privacy settings, here is where it says she changed it to no. Now it's up to you whether or not you want to communicate with her and let her know that she may have accidentally done this and did not want to have this setting. Again, this does not override system emails. So in other words, another system email, because she's not a primary, another system email would be if she registered for an event she is going to get the event registration confirmation email. That's a system email. This does not affect those emails. It only affects the emails that you send out through the communications tab. So you may want to reach out to a member like this and say, I don't know if you realized, but you turned off all emails. You won't get any notifications from us about elections or upcoming events or any other, just surveys, communications that you send out. You're not going to be getting those from our organization. Did you mean to do this? And a lot of times people will say, gosh, no, I didn't realize I did that. Would you change the setting for me? And then you can change the setting for them. And again, that's just by going into their member profile and clicking down here, more member options on the privacy, cancel, remove, and then just changing it to yes and save, which I'm not going to do.
Just to clarify a little, in terms of those, so basically, if somebody joins your organization or they register for an event, as Yvonne explained, those are considered opt-ins, right? Because they've joined. So sending them a renewal email is an opt-in, or registering for an event and sending them a confirmation email is considered an opt-in. So it all has to do with the can spam email laws and all of that, that people are choosing to receive emails from you. Emails that go through the email module are what we call here, at least at NIGP, marketing emails, right? That they're not necessarily opt-in in terms of a join or a register or whatever. So that's why people can choose not to receive those. So that's just to give you a little context in terms of, for instance, like your forums, we showed the new look of the forums. Those are ones that people have to opt in to receive. So if you have a forum on your site and you have set it up that when somebody posts, they get an email in their inbox, all members might be a part of that forum, but if they didn't opt in their profile to get that email, they won't get it. So because that is considered, once again, not necessarily a system email, but it is one that they have to opt in to receive. So just to clarify that.
Right. And in this instance, clearly one of your primary members, who's the only member who is going to get the expiration notice and the renewal notice, has opted out of emails. So as long as they've opted out of emails, they're not going to get those. Well, they'll get the renewal, the system email, the automatic email that they need to renew, but no other emails following up on you or by you. I did want to show one other option instead of the communications tab and using the option to send an email to everybody in the renewal process. You can also, in the people tab, maybe you want to drill down to, I don't know, maybe for some reason, not sure you'd ever want to, but I'm just going to use it as an example, that maybe you want to only send emails to active members who are agency and who are secondary members. Maybe you want to send them an email. You can do that you can drill down to a specific member or specific list by using the filters in the people tab. And then now this is 71 people. You can click on this action tab and you can create a mailing list. So I'm going to create a new mailing list as active secondary members and the date of 11/18/2025. Oh, let's just go with 11/25. Now I don't want to add that to the add me screen. I'll explain that in a second, so I'm not going to check that box. And just real quickly, the add me screen is if you have on your website, add me to your mailing list. Let's see. Yeah, so right here, this is the add me. So if I had checked that box, when I were to go to, and it seems like your link might be broken. Yep, your link is broken. So what that would be though, is if I clicked here, it would open up an option for me to be added to the mailing list, and it would include any categories that I had marked. So maybe you have interested members or found you on Facebook, whatever your categories are. And then the person who wanted to be added to the mailing list would check which boxes. So by not checking that, that box does not appear to the public to be added to that list. And then when I log in, I'll show you where that list lives. That is also under the Communications tab, Mailing List Categories. And then here is that list I created. It has 71 names on there. And if I wanted to send an email to them, I could click here to email, or I could also go into the Communications tab, Emailing, and in the distribution list, I can look for, I can just type mailing. So what I did there, I tried mailing, it's not mailing. So what I did was I typed in category, and it's everyone in a selected category. And there is that list that I created. These are the other categories that are on your mailing list categories. And if I add this and save, it should be 71. So it's 67 because 44 people are refusing, but 67 and 4 equals 41. So just so that I don't mess up this website, I am going to delete that.
That's very helpful.
And go to your
And
mailing
also,
list.
Nicole, if is in terms of your renewals that went out that nobody opened, you could have maybe a member you could reach out to just to ask if they received it, just to confirm or something like that, right? Search their email or something, just to confirm that it was received.
Now I cannot delete this list right now, and the way that I know is there's no trash can. You can't delete a list when there's names on it. So I can see, assign members, and I can choose to move all of these members all at once over here. So these are the selected 71. I could add one person to it if I wanted. Now it's 72. But in order for me to delete this so that it doesn't confuse you, I'm actually going to move everybody. So now the list has 0 names. And once it's updated, I should be able to delete the list. Now there's a trash can. Because there's 0 entries, there's in both categories. Now I have the trash can, and I'm going to delete that because I don't want to confuse you in the future.
Thank you.
Does anyone have a question? Don't see anything else. No questions. All right, Yvonne, I know we talked about showing the admin FAQs page. However, I should preface that. So as you all know, we do have quite a few training videos and past office hour recordings on a playlist in YouTube and all of that. These are kind of help. And I'm guessing even on the Club Express, their help section as well. So this new look that's coming is not necessarily going to be reflected in all of that, right? Because those are older videos. So for instance, on all of your sites under, well, I guess you're not logged in, under the Papa, if you logged in right now, Yvonne, under the About tab, you have an FAQs page.
Okay, I had seen this. This is strange. I don't know why.
You're not logged in. You need to be.
No, I specifically went back to this one and logged out because I could have sworn the other day I had seen the link to the FAQs, and I was going to suggest that if the link to the FAQs was showing up, that you'd want to remove it. But I don't know why it's not showing up now. Yeah, so about
Okay. So if you want
admin
to.
only FAQs.
So these are all videos. These are quick access to some of the things that have come up in terms of, things that we've talked about. There's a new administrator training video that, we did, oh golly, probably 2 years ago, but none of the information has necessarily changed. Emails, editing events, Yvonne did in office hours, I snipped little aspects of creating a marquee or the countdown clock, that kind of thing, using the survey module. So using this space here to put access to videos, quick access. The only thing is, once again, is that what's in these videos in terms of the look of the admin screen will change. So how that, yeah, I'm not sure what will happen with all of that, because these, because there's many videos on the YouTube channel for Club Express as well as ours that will have the older look, but still relevant, but yet will have the older look. So, but then obviously you can click into up above, and here is also some kind of walk you through step by step some of the I've tried to organize these, general versus the people manager, and once again, this is not comprehensive in any way, but it is certainly some of those top FAQ things that we've heard about. It isn't necessarily anything really specific to a chapter or whatever is not necessarily in this. It's more trying to globally address questions and stuff from all chapters. So please understand that this is only available for admins on your site. So your members wouldn't be able to click in and access this. So this is locked down to members. So, is there anything else does anyone have any questions? Anything they'd like to ask? I would love to get input from people if I could, in terms of December. So in terms of office hours, because we do have office hours scheduled for the 9th as usual, but then we also do have one on the 23rd. So if you could just maybe in chat let us know if the 23rd, we're just trying to figure out whether people will be available to attend or not. So if you don't mind letting us know in the chat whether that would be a date that would be you guys would be interested in attending, or we should cancel, just to get some input. So other than that, I don't know. I don't think we have, and I don't see any hands. So I don't think we have anything else that we need to cover.
Looks like some people are out on the 23rd.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
People are posting that they won't be in the office on the 23rd.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for letting us know, but I will certainly, I will send something out to let everyone know what we, yeah, it looks like the 23rd is going to be hard for most people, so, can we do the week previous? Yeah, something to think about. So thank you, David. So certainly just trying to gauge, we have some time, but trying to gauge what would work best for everyone. So, well, thank you, everyone. There will be a recording of this. I also put the recording to the webinar that Club Express did regarding the new look. If you want to look, I put that in chat. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. For sure, and we will be doing this again on December 9th. And thank you so much. Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.